Have you ever wondered about the right way to eat sushi with chopsticks? Welcome to a journey into the world of sushi and the fine art of dining with chopsticks, a culinary experience that goes beyond merely eating to embracing the culture and traditions of Japan. Picture this: you're sitting at a sushi bar, a plate of beautifully crafted sushi in front of you, chopsticks at the ready. But did you know there are certain unspoken rules that come with this experience? That's right, even the way you handle your chopsticks carries cultural significance. For starters, it's a faux pas to rub your chopsticks together. While it might seem like a harmless act to remove potential splinters, this gesture implies that the chopsticks, and by extension, your host's hospitality, are of poor quality. It's considered a sign of disrespect, a slight you wouldn't want to make. Another important rule to remember is to never, and I mean never, stick your chopsticks upright in a bowl of rice. This act is eerily reminiscent of a funeral ritual in Japan and is understandably considered highly inappropriate at the dinner table. Now, let's talk sushi. Believe it or not, it's perfectly okay to use your hands instead of chopsticks for certain types of sushi. If the sushi is too delicate to pick up with chopsticks, using your hands shows respect for the chef's craftsmanship. It ensures you enjoy the sushi just as it was intended to be savored. And when you're done eating, remember to place your chopsticks on the hashioki, or the chopstick rest. It's a simple gesture, but one that shows you're aware and respectful of the dining traditions. So, whether you're dining in Japan or at a traditional Japanese restaurant elsewhere, being mindful of these cultural nuances can greatly enhance your dining experience. It's not just about the act of eating, but the appreciation of the craft, the respect for the culture, and the enjoyment of the culinary journey. It's all about showing respect and appreciation for the food and the culture. So next time you're about to dive into a plate of sushi, remember these tips and enjoy your meal the right way. But how exactly should we handle sushi with chopsticks, you may ask? Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of using chopsticks for sushi, step by step. Firstly, it's essential to know that not all sushi should be eaten with chopsticks. Yes, you heard it right. Some sushi types, like nigiri, are traditionally eaten by hand. Nigiri sushi consists of a slice of raw fish elegantly placed atop a delicate ball of rice. The rice is packed lightly, maintaining a balance between keeping its shape and allowing the grains to fall apart in the mouth. This delicate balance can be disrupted if you use chopsticks, causing the sushi to crumble. So what should you do? Simply use your hand to gently pick up the nigiri, maintaining the fish side facing down. Now, here's a little secret. When dipping your sushi into soy sauce, always make sure to dip it fish side down. This way, the rice remains intact and doesn't soak up too much sauce, which can overpower the subtle flavors of the fish. Remember to handle your nigiri with care, and ideally eat it in 1 or 2 bites. On the other hand, sashimi, which are slices of raw fish with no rice, is best eaten with chopsticks. There's no risk of it falling apart, and the chopsticks allow for a more elegant dining experience. Just be sure to use the chopsticks correctly, holding the top one like a pencil and keeping the bottom one stationary. Now, let's talk about chopstick etiquette. It's considered disrespectful to pass food to someone else using the chopsticks that you've eaten with. Instead, turn your chopsticks around and use the end that hasn't been in your mouth. Also, avoid leaving your chopsticks sticking upright in your rice. This act is associated with funeral rituals in Japan and is considered impolite. Remember, the key is to enjoy the sushi the way it was intended. By understanding and respecting these cultural nuances, you'll not only enhance your sushi eating experience, but also show appreciation for the art and tradition of sushi making. Now, let's move on to the art of dipping sushi into soy sauce. The moment has arrived. You've mastered the chopsticks, you've selected your sushi, and now the soy sauce awaits. But there's more to this than simply dunking your sushi into the sauce. This is where the subtle art of sushi dipping comes into play. Firstly, you need to understand the ideal orientation for dipping sushi. It's not the rice, but the fish that should lead the way. Yes, you heard it right. The fish should be dipped into the soy sauce, not the rice. Why? Well, it's all about balance. Sushi is a beautiful harmony of flavors, where each ingredient complements the other. the sushi rice is seasoned with a mix of vinegar, sugar, and salt. This delicate balance can be overpowered by an excess of soy sauce. Hence, dipping the fish side into the soy sauce ensures that the flavor of the rice remains intact while the fish gets a savory boost. Moreover, sushi rice is often loosely packed and can easily fall apart when it comes into contact with liquid. Dipping the fish side down helps to keep your sushi together, ensuring a perfect bite each time. So how do you achieve this? Pick up the sushi using your chopsticks or hand, gently turn it sideways, then upside down so that the fish part is facing downwards. Now, lightly dip the fish into the soy sauce. Be careful not to soak it, a light dip is enough. After dipping, the sushi should be eaten in one bite, maintaining the same orientation so that the fish hits your tongue first. This technique might seem a bit tricky at first, but with a bit of practice, you'll soon be dipping sushi like a pro. Remember, sushi is not just about eating, it's an experience. It's the appreciation of the balance of flavors, the textures, and the craftsmanship. So next time you dip your sushi, remember, it's all about the fish, not the rice. There are certain things you should definitely avoid while using chopsticks. While chopsticks are a versatile tool for enjoying a variety of meals, especially sushi, there are some specific practices that are considered bad manners or even taboo in Japan. One of these is passing food from one pair of chopsticks to another. This act is reminiscent of a traditional Japanese funeral ritual where the bones of the deceased are passed between chopsticks. So, if you want to share a piece of sushi with a friend, place it directly on their plate instead. Another practice to avoid is sticking your chopsticks upright in a bowl of rice. This is not just about etiquette, but a deep-rooted cultural symbol. In Japan, upright chopsticks are associated with funerals, where a bowl of rice with chopsticks standing straight up is offered to the spirit of the deceased. So, when you're done munching on your sushi or taking a break, make sure to place your chopsticks on the chopstick rest, or hashioki. Remember that sushi is not just food, but an art form. Using your chopsticks improperly or disrespectfully can reflect poorly on your appreciation of the craft. Also, don't forget that certain types of sushi, like nigiri, are best enjoyed by hand. This is due to the delicate nature of the rice and the sushi's construction. In addition, never rub your chopsticks together to remove splinters. This is seen as a sign of disrespect, as it implies that the chopsticks provided are of poor quality. If you find a splinter, politely request a new pair. And finally, if you find yourself struggling to pick up a piece of sushi, resist the temptation to stab it with your chopstick. This is seen as a sign of frustration and can be considered rude. Instead, ask for a fork or use your hands. These taboos are not just about table manners, but deep-rooted cultural symbols. So, the next time you're dining at a traditional Japanese restaurant or traveling in Japan, remember these tips to show your respect and appreciation for the culture and the culinary art of sushi. Let's hear from some sushi enthusiasts about their experience. First up, we have Tom, a frequent traveler to Japan. He shares, "I was initially quite intimidated by the chopstick etiquette, but once you get the hang of it, it's really quite simple. And the appreciation you receive from the chefs and locals is definitely worth the effort. I've been to Japan 5 times now, and every time I'm always learning something new about their wonderful culture." Next, we have Sarah, a sushi chef from London. She tells us, "Learning the proper way to eat sushi has not only enhanced my dining experience, but also my understanding of Japanese culture. The act of eating sushi is a ritual in itself, a celebration of the chef's skill and the ingredients' natural flavors. As a chef, I have a newfound respect for the delicate balance between tradition and innovation in Japanese cuisine." Finally, we have Akiko, a Japanese native who now lives in New York City. She recounts, "Growing up in Japan, these etiquette rules were second nature to me, but when I moved to the US, I realized not everyone was familiar with them. I've since taken it upon myself to educate my friends and colleagues about the proper way to eat sushi. It's a small way I can share my culture with others." In conclusion, these testimonials highlight how learning and practicing the correct way to eat sushi with chopsticks can enhance your dining experience, deepen your understanding of Japanese culture, and even bridge cultural gaps. It's not just about the act of eating, but the respect and appreciation we show for the art and tradition behind it. So, the next time you're at a sushi restaurant, remember these etiquette rules. You'll not only impress your dining companions, but also show respect for the rich and sophisticated culture that brought us the delightful cuisine of sushi. Remember, when it comes to sushi and chopsticks, it's not just about eating, but respecting the culture behind it.